Welcome to Mission Imperfect, the podcast about finding your own path, your own way, and embracing the imperfection of the journey.
We're your hosts, life coaches, former HR professionals, and mums, Kirsty and Catherine.
We love to discuss the topics that come up time and time again for our coaching clients and which affect us all, from things like acceptance and boundaries to values and well-being and everything in between.
Each episode ends with a question for you and us to reflect on. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to grab a cuppa and a biscuit and join us in getting lost in finding ourselves.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Mission Imperfect. Today we are talking about a coach's favourite word. It is should. So, Kirsty, oh, I can see the shudder. Over to you. Let's talk a little bit about should and why it is an episode in and of itself.
Yeah, it's just that one little word, right? But that little word should. I think it's a word that probably does more than any other to suck the joy out of life and to make us feel inadequate and to separate us from our sense of who we truly are and what really matters to us. Now
So don't hold back, Kirsty. Tell it like it really is.
what do I really think though? Stop being nice about it. Yeah, I really think, should. What comes up when you think about should? It carries that real sense of pressure with it, doesn't it? It immediately tells you that something is somehow wrong and it needs to change. And not in a sort of positive, motivational way, is it? You rarely hear the word should and go, oh yeah, I really should do this, shouldn't I? You're going, oh God, I really should do this, shouldn't I? And it drags you down. And as you said at the start, it is a favorite word for coaches to question, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a word I hate, and it's not because now with my coaches understanding of when we're saying it, what perhaps we really are meaning. The thing is, I partly hate it because it just comes out, doesn't it, all the time. I should do this, and it's just when we really think about it, I think it has this sort of double whammy effect because we're saying it very easily about something we allegedly want, or should
Mm.
have, or should do, or should be. There it pops up in there. And yet there's no real genuine motivation or drive behind it that you get with something like I will. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the conviction with something like I will do this or I am this. And it's a bit like, and I say this word as well all the time, try. And I I've been berated for it, not in person, but I was reading someone else's blog about using the word try, and it's like, just take it away because it's a lack of conviction, it's a lack of ownership. And I think the problem with one of the problems with should is because, well, should you want it? Says who? To be honest. So it's whether
Yeah.
you want it at all in the first place, and says who. And that's if I find myself saying should, I do try to add on the says who bit to really
I
try
like
and
that.
check in with
Mm.
myself. Is this me talking or is this just somewhere in the ether talking of the should? Yeah.
Mm. That's a really good tip for just adding that says who. And I like your use of the word ownership there. The fact that when we say should, it doesn't really have that sense of ownership of what we're saying we want. And that's a really good point. And it segues nicely into the question of where do our shoulds come from? Because they are popping up all the time. If you start becoming aware of the word should, you're going to see quite how often you use it. Um, it almost feels like you've got a verbal tick once you start looking for them used. So
Yes.
um, maybe you can try counting them one day. I think once you start observing them, it probably becomes a slightly false exercise. Anyway, where do they come from? Now, sometimes I actually think they are a genuine reflection of things that we want to do, things that we want to happen, but they feel way too difficult, too hard, too scary, beyond our reach right now. We don't know how to do it. So it's that sense of wanting the thing, but the idea of having to try and make it happen feels just way too much.
Mm.
Um, People say I should believe in myself more. Well, yes, and they probably want to quite genuinely, but how do you make that happen? What's involved in that? It doesn't feel very sort of, I guess, possible or practical, does it?
Yeah.
Things like I should apply for that promotion. Now I should stop eating these biscuits. Personal favorite of mine. Um, but you probably won't, right? You probably won't
Yeah.
apply for promotion. In my case, I almost certainly won't stop eating the biscuits. But yeah, I've kind of gone beyond the
It,
should on that one. But then there are the other shoulds, and you've touched on this with the says who, because often they're all about external pressure, aren't they? And whether that's from our families, our communities, our peers, the media, that there is so much all around us which presents images and ideas of how we should be, the way we should be living our lives, what we should have, and what we should do. And that all taps into our innate desire for acceptance and approval, our fear of rejection. And so you find yourself maybe saying things like, I should be married by now. I should have a proper job. I should be a size zero. I shouldn't want more. I should dye my grey hair. I shouldn't blow my own trumpet. And there isn't a fundamental belief in those things that we tell ourselves, but there is a belief that it's what other people think is right.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely see the difference when you talk about those ones with the external pressures, like the I should be married by now, because it's an expectation that by a certain age you will have found somebody and got married because that's the norm, and then have your 2.4 children
Yeah,
and so on and so forth. And that's when and that it's sad, isn't it? Because when you reeled off all those examples, I thought, God, they're so real, aren't they? I bet people have thought at least one of those a few times. I should have a proper job. I mean, and who's to say the job you I'm laughing a little bit with, because I've moved from what might have been considered a proper job into something a lot more, I guess,
yeah,
what some people might see as tenuous and perhaps unreliable and volatile and all of those things. But who's to say that it isn't still a proper job? And I think it takes real courage to acknowledge I'm doing what I actually want to do as opposed to what I should allegedly want to do, because I think that's really quite a dangerous way to live your life according to things that you feel that you should be doing. And those first examples you gave, and I think this is also very true, they can absolutely be that genuine reflection of something that you do want but it feels too hard. And you say things like I should believe in myself more. It's just an untethered thought, isn't it? There's no grounding in it of I know my self belief is perhaps lacking and I want to do something about it. You can really sense the difference in a statement like that compared
gosh,
to
yeah.
one which is I should believe in myself more, because that's the kind of well yes, but there's no and what am I going to do about it, or what's going to happen, because like you said, I should stop eating these biscuits. But yes, I probably won't because I enjoy them too much. And I'm acknowledging that it's perhaps not the healthiest choice, but I just don't care enough to do it. It's like not, it's an untethered drift in kind of thought. And then it doesn't lead to anything.
But actually, I mean, I included I should stop eating these biscuits in the category that might be genuine because, I mean, speaking very personally, I know that I often feel very conflicted when I am overindulging on the sugar front, that there is that sense of I should be stopping, and I know that would be a good thing for me to do. Good for my health, good for my sort of mental well-being. I'm not going to beat myself up afterwards if I stop now. I know all those things, and yet there is that element of very often of comfort eating or reward eating, or the perhaps the immediate dopamine fix that you're craving. But it can still be very genuine, even if on some level you're probably not going to do it. and also we get these shoulds sort of ganging up on us because I mean, look, just as we were talking about this, we had the I should apply for that promotion and I shouldn't blow my own trumpet. Where that genuine desire to get on at work, or the belief that your abilities merit more recognition, can then be stymied by the whole conditioning of we shouldn't blow our own trumpets. So we get caught in the crossfire of our own shoulds.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you sort of explore these shoulds and identify the ones that may well reflect something that you truly want and that you want to work on, and the ones that frankly you should just ditch? And I think, and again, this is something you touched on right at the start as well. The easiest way to explore a should is to try replacing it with a different word. Something like want, will, could, can, need, and one that you added that I really like, choose. And then start seeing how that sentence feels differently when you are phrasing it differently. And this sounds like a really superficial example. I'm very good at superficial. I mean, I could say I'm deeply superficial, but that leads down all sorts of rabbit holes. So I should do the housework. It's something I say to myself on a Saturday morning very regularly. And I can honestly say it has never once filled me with joy and motivation. It always makes me feel miserable. Because I am the missing link between human and sloth. I would much rather be on the sofa with a book and a cup of tea, and probably those biscuits I shouldn't be eating. But anyway, so when I start playing around with this and the shoulds, when I changed it to I want to do the housework, that was a big no, I don't. No,
No.
just no, it's not true. Um, when I tried need, I need to do the housework. That felt truer. It felt that I was identifying something a bit more important about it with that. And it felt a bit less external.
Mm.
And so then you can get to questions around, well, what is the need that doing the housework is going to meet? And there was a while when I almost hoped it was satisfying other people's judgment of me, because then I could say, well, I'm not going down that road, I'm not doing the housework. But sadly, I felt it probably wasn't that. Um, what I recognized at the end was that I need a clean, calm environment, a degree of organization in my environment in order to feel at ease in myself and at peace and able to think straight. And that enabled me to change, I should do the housework, to I want a clean and tidy house to relax in. So I will do the housework. And that's just really changed it. Do I like doing the
Yeah.
housework? No, I don't. But now I understand why I'm doing it and what it gives me.
Yeah.
And that's changed my relationship with it.
You can totally see that. It's such a different statement from I should do the housework, which, as we know, is that kind of untethered. Yeah, we know we kind of should, but we don't want to. We don't have the motivation for it. It's there and it's uninspiring to, yes, it's still a job to be done, but you know what you want out of the other side of it. So you will do it. And I bet even just the use of that word will inspires the action far more
Yeah.
than the word should. And it's like I can just you can build off that thing. You said to yourself, I should try, put them together, should try and go to the gym tomorrow. What are the chances of you actually doing it?
Oh,
I'd
cool.
say
Right.
diddly squat. If that was me, if that was me, I've pretty much already said basically I'm not going. So I was saying I should and I should try, which means I won't, versus I will go to the gym tomorrow morning, or I am going to the gym tomorrow because I want that kind of buzz afterwards, or whatever it might be. Because I'm one of those people that doesn't fill me with joy, but I know the kind of adrenaline rush and that kind of smug
Yeah.
satisfaction you have when you have actually done some exercise that you get afterwards.
Yeah.
It's actually really worth it. But I'd be far more likely to do it, I know, if I was using I will or I am than over I should try, because that's a real get
Mm.
out of jail card, I think.
Yeah. And if you don't actually enjoy the gym itself. Again, that what is it that going to the gym is going to give you? What is it? What is the outcome that matters to you there? That starts to give you a different sense of the should and why it has come up as something that you feel is necessary to you in some way. And I mean, in going through those exercises, sometimes, the why does it matter to me? What does it do for me? You might have to keep digging quite a lot because we're quite good at burying things or, you know, giving it perhaps the easier answer, the most obvious answer, the answer we think we should give. And I mean, we'll include it in the show notes, but there's one technique around 7 layers deep, which is that you probably have to ask that question, and what does that do for me 7 times to get to the one where you know your body barometer, your feelings tell you that's the answer, that's the gold there,
Yeah.
that's what matters. And if when you're doing this you don't get anywhere, nothing's coming up for you. If your attitude to the housework or the gym is still no, then don't do it. If it's not, if this should is not delivering something that matters to you or to the people you care about, perhaps, but then you would probably identify that through what does it do for me. If it really isn't bringing anything up for you, then why are you wasting time and energy on it?
Mm.
But once you have identified what it will give you, you'll probably save a lot of time and energy that you would otherwise spend procrastinating and arguing with yourself about whether you're going to do it or not. Speaking from my own experience. And yeah, you can start using that time and energy you're saving to do something that matters to you. And when all these shoulds that come up that you hear people saying, a more random example, I should be earning more money. When people say that, maybe what they're saying is, yeah, I want more money. That's what I want because I want my family to have all the opportunities that I never did, and that's going to keep driving them. Or that I should be earning more money might actually I need I need more money because I can't pay my rent anymore.
Mm.
That's going to be quite motivating, I feel. But maybe you'll keep digging and you'll find that actually you're just sick of your parents banging on about how much their friends' kids are earning, and actually you just want them to shut up. It's not motivating you in the slightest. You're perfectly happy as you are. But that you've taken on the sense of somebody else telling
Yeah.
you where you should be in life and what you should want from life and how you should be living it.
Yeah. I think the key thing here, really, that we've identified is that should is a bit of a nothing word. We've got to identify what's going on behind it and
Mm.
then choose whether it matters or not. And then I think it puts a very different slant on it because and that's such a good example that you've picked out with the I should be earning more money. And you can use the says who bit, but you could also talk about the why and the how, so what you've used some really good examples there because you want to provide opportunities or you can't afford your rent. Those are real, very tangible. So it's not really a should, it's a sort of, it's actually a need or a wants. But then the third example you gave is actually maybe you don't need to, it's someone else's should over your financial business, which is quite frankly none of theirs, to be honest.
Absolutely. And yeah, words have a power, don't they? You might think, well,
Mm.
we're just playing with words, but I never know how to say his name. Lao Tse, Lao, new word, TZU. It said, what's your thoughts? They become your words. What's your words? They become your actions. So when we're playing around with
So
these
true.
words, they make a
Mm.
difference. And like your beautiful gym example, I should go to the gym in the morning. It's probably not happening, is it?
No.
Yeah. I want to go to the gym in the morning. Hmm. Sounds a bit more promising. Uh, I am going to the gym in the morning. I'll see you when you get
It's like
back.
the decision's made, isn't it? Decisions,
Yeah.
it's like you already accepted that that's what's going to happen rather than it being possibility. I think it's gone from possibility to desire to definite almost.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's all like a scale, isn't it? Just in those small choice of words, but it's interesting. If you choose to have said the word should, does that mean you actually really want to?
Hmm.
Possibly not. Even the want, is that verging more on the want and will, or want because I feel like I'm supposed to and I haven't been for a couple of weeks and blah blah blah, all those other things that might pop up.
Yeah, I find it great fun to play around with the phrasing. I mean, I should follow my dream. Well, that superficially that can sound really positive, but there's still that sense of sort of obligation. It's quite what does it really mean? I mean, just changing it to could. I could follow my dream. Suddenly there's possibility there. And again, switching even further to will. I mean, for some people, maybe that feels like a step too far, a bit too big, but I could follow my dream. Suddenly there's a possibility that there's not a pressure. There's an option. Uh, yeah. So shall we have a few quotes
Let's do
in
it.
keeping with our tradition?
Yeah.
So one that I really liked from somebody called Karen Salmonson. Stop shooting yourself to death. Instead, change your shoulds to coulds and start living your life with the excitement and possibility that could offers.
That's drawing exactly on the example that you've just said, wasn't it, about following your dreams? That's an interesting one because for me, I felt like could still felt in the realms of um not really choosing, if you know what I mean. But in this context, I do absolutely see the difference with the could being more of a desire and possibility as opposed to should, and the heaviness that might come with that and the obligation that's not even yours that you wanted in the
Yeah,
first place could suggest it is actually something that you want. I suppose just from my point of view, the stronger one is the more concrete am and will, even though we know
yeah.
don't know how it might work out, but that I think is the one that really drives you more to the action. I'm at least going to try and make that happen. I know I've used the word try in there because, but that's in the sense that we don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I'm at least going to start
Yeah.
following what I want this thing to be and see where it takes me.
Yeah, in some ways it can always be a scale, can't it? That especially with the bigger shoulds, the could be could might be that that first step in opening you up to that more positive sense of possibility is taking away from heaviness, and then you start moving forward into exactly as you say that it's the doorway into I will, I am.
Mm. Yeah, I do like this idea of shoulding as a verb, which
Yes.
was also used in another quote here from Tony Robbins, which was trade your expectations for appreciation, and the world changes instantly. Don't should all over yourself. I'm sorry, I totally hear another word, but instead should all over yourself and stop shoulding yourself to death, which I think we can all infer what that might be. But yeah, it just goes to show that it's a word that we use a lot, and it's really not a useful word. And I hope we've made clear why we think that is the case, because there's what's actually behind it is what matters. It's like a mask, I think, for something completely different. And it might still be a positive thing, but it might not be. And I think we need to tap into what it actually is each time we hear ourselves saying the word should.
Absolutely, yeah. It's in itself, it's not useful, but as a red flag, it's useful. As a
Mm.
little red flag, and there's something going on here. What is it? And are
Yeah.
we ditching the should, or are we embracing the will?
Oh, I like that.
That was good, wasn't it? Don't know where
Yeah,
that
that
came
was
from.
good. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Oh.
pull that out for a little piece to remember. I like that. I like that very much. Let's end with today's question. So I'm going to ask this one for you first, Kirsty. So, and I love this. What is the main feeling you associate with the word should?
Yeah, and for me, what came straight was heaviness. Um, it feels oppressive and weighty and restrictive, and actually, the word I was going to use there was a color rather than feeling grey. It feels grey.
Mm,
But that's and I think the importance of asking a question like that is it helps you to start tuning into. the word far more. When you recognize the feeling that's coming with it, you bring your conscious awareness to how you feel when you say should. It becomes a lot easier to challenge it.
Yeah. So I not dissimilar to you, the immediately what came up for me was obligation
Mhm.
and expectation.
Ooh.
Expectation which may not be mine, which I think I have to be very mindful of. And I think I would add, after chatting today, I think what I'd add to it is this its sense of being untethered to something, if that makes sense. It just being out in the ether and I almost see it as a word that's floating around, not doing anything and not meaning anything, not really. And that's what I need to work out what I'm going to exchange it for. What is it? What is it really about? So yes, it's going to continue to be a word that I intensely dislike, that I will still use from time to time and be very annoyed about. But at least I think I'm like I'm not going to count them in a day. That would do my head in.
Oh,
But
I resisted that.
um, I'm very aware when I use it now. Actually, I think I know there's more to it than that, and I think that's the unfortunate thing. We get if we're not aware of it, we're probably thinking it and using it an awful lot more than we realize. And it can unfortunately be leading us down paths that aren't quite true, which is so connected to various other things we've spoken about, like boundaries, like values. It's like so many things we talk about in coaching, aren't they, Kirsty? I think we could have just recorded one, perhaps, like 25-hour podcast and tried to cover and said that relates to this other thing that I spoke about.
I
But
think
no,
it could
that
get
would
quite convoluted, but we could definitely do it. Yeah.
yeah.
25 hours, no trouble.
Yeah, and it's the eyes with matchsticks, bring them over.
Coffee. Yeah. So I hope you find that useful and that you are going to be looking out for those shoulds and considering how they feel and what you can replace them with. And maybe bringing in a sense of values, as we've spoken about in a previous episode, how your values can help you determine whether your shoulds are to be ditched or embraced as wills.
Oh, love it. Brilliant. Right, we will see you again soon for another episode.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Mission Imperfect.
Please visit the show notes for details on how to contact us and for any resources we may have on the topic discussed.
Until next time, keep being imperfectly you. No one does it better.